Alright, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Elden Ring walkthrough. So today the plan is to do just about everything in Weeping Peninsula, honestly. This might be kind of a long episode, but just looking ahead to what I want to cover in the next couple of episodes, I want to get pretty much all this done. Hey, it's a night boss. We haven't seen one of those yet. This is why you don't go out at night. But anyway, let's head up this Spirit Spring. Also, we warped to the Castle Morne Rampart. Forgot to say that, but that's where we're at. I messed up already. Let's try this again. I'm gonna hit the Spirit Spring and aim for this tower first, actually. Might have already grabbed this yourself, but great turtle shell right there. And some warming stones. And then we can make a run for this tower over here. So this is one of several, I just call them puzzle towers. I don't know if they have a proper name, but interact with the statue out front, so seek 3 wise beasts. So we got one here. One here. Last one is going to be hiding in this pond over here. There we go. And if you sit around here, it'll splash a bit in case you're like, how am I possibly supposed to find a silent, invisible turtle? But it'll let you know it's there, and you can walk into it. It's like solid. Then we can climb to the top. And these towers are where you're going to get the bulk of the memory stones in the game. Several of them hidden away in these, so there's another memory stone. I think that's just 2 out of 8. Off the top of my head. I'll throw it in the video though. Whatever the correct number is. And then up here, Starlight Shards. And I'm just gonna do this out of order. I feel like this route makes more sense. I had this listed later. I mean, we're gonna do it in this episode either way, I think, but some catacombs over here that I feel like we should just do now since we're up here, instead of coming back later. Grab that Grace, and then you can run through this weird gravity field. Those Alabaster Lord guys is gonna pop out of that portal. Tempted to kill him since I saw he had glowing eyes. I don't know how many runes he would give us, but you know what? We're gonna kill him. I want to find out. Stone Sword Key right there. And then normally I would say just ride along this cliffside, and whenever it's safe to drop down on the left, go ahead and do so. But we stand to make a lot of money here. Oh no. Alright, good start. I don't know how many runes these guys drop normally, but like, if it's like 1,000, then he should give us like 5,000 here. Should be sick. I doubt he drops 1,000, but that'd be crazy if he did. They have a lot of health, so maybe. 1,600. Not bad. I would say that's worth it. It's not much less than what a lot of the bosses in like the catacombs and mods and stuff will give us, so. I heard rumors that this catacomb might be connected to the DLC. If you're watching this in the future, and there is a connection between the Impaler's catacombs and the DLC, let me know. Alright, I'm gonna let him come over here. A little further if you don't mind. There we go. I suck. And he backed up to add insult to injury. Can't get guard counters off of ranged attacks, by the way. I don't know if I ever said that. So if I was like really smooth with it, I could get a guard counter off that guy's throwing knife back there and hit the one in front of me. It wasn't quite throwing it far enough for that to work, but I have done it before with an arrow or something. These guys just have to have the world record for the most accidental dodges of all time. They're just flailing all over the place, and half the time it just works out for them because they're so short. Watch out for this guy trying to ambush you when you come in here. Grab the Grave Glovewort 2. Alright, and then this is a trapped floor. When you step on it, it's going to start raising slowly in the spike ceiling. So we're going to run over here. Grab this quickly. And then run over here back to the entrance while it's going down. It's not really necessary, it's just a flower. But then you can activate it again and drop underneath it. Another Grave Violet. And a Ghost Glovewort too. Alright, and these guys are all pretty slow, but they have a grab attack like that you don't want to get hit by. The Prattling Pate, please help. Another Grave Glovewort. Root Resin. They're kind of tanky though, is the other thing I was going to say, so I'm not going to bother fighting them. I can't remember if they spawn infinitely or not, but there's a lot of them, so just not going to bother personally. Alright, hit the lever, and do not forget, stand still, clear the text. Gonna get attacked right around the corner. It takes a second for the text to pop up after you hit the lever, so it's really easy to just run over here and get annihilated by this guy. Hop through the window, and boss time. Now, I don't know for sure, but I feel like this boss is an homage to a fan favorite from Soft Boss. It just reminds me of someone. I feel like that didn't hit me. Why am I still locked on to that guy? Now I will show you something after we beat this boss. If... Come on. I'll show you something that can make this boss a lot easier if you are struggling on it, depending on your build and your stats and everything by this point in the game. I could definitely see this being an absolute nightmare. It's definitely not fun for me. Oh my god. It's like actually agonizing. Personally, I love to play like without lock on most of the time, right? These are one of the guys that like one of the enemy types that I just feel like you have to lock on to. Just because they move around so much. The boss not so much, but the imps themselves, yes. But with all of them in here and the boss literally like floating around the room, it's just like the lock-on goes crazy. I wish I had more to say strategy-wise, but it's like, it's gotta kind of do what works best for you for fighting the Watchdogs, and you gotta do what works best for you for fighting the imps, and you somehow gotta figure out how to do them both at the same time. But there is another thing, like I just said, that can help. You get the Demi-Human ashes from that. So I didn't do this beforehand because, like I said, I wasn't planning uncovering this catacomb right away, so I probably have it in my notes a little further into the Weeping Peninsula section, but I forgot about it because I skipped ahead, so that's what I get for trying to change the plan. But if you travel to lake facing cliffs, these golem type creatures, which are essentially just reanimated statues, and while I'm mostly joking with that being an homage to Capra Demon, you know, just because it's like really obnoxious boss that will become sort of just like a normal enemy scattered around later on in the game, much like Capra Demon, and little really annoying ads to go along with it in a somewhat confined space. You know, just all the dots are connecting, all the numbers are adding up there. But the golem mechanic, I think, really is kind of an homage to Dark Souls 2, where there were golems that you would have to like infuse with a soul. You'd kill an enemy near a golem, and instead of the soul going to your character and you getting the souls for beating them, however many it would be, it would go into a nearby golem, and then that golem would come to life and perform an action. And all the golems were just like magical statues essentially, right? But they were not, they were dormant until you like added some kind of magical element to them, which in that game was a soul. But if we grab this Nomadic Warriors Cookbook 11, that is going to allow you to craft crystal darts. Now, you need to find some cracked crystals, which can be found, like it says, in crystal tunnels. So you might have to go farming for some of those. But the crystal darts, if you throw them, usually it takes one or two. If you throw them at a golem enemy, they are going to, where to go? There's an item crafting. They're actually going to mind control them, sort of. Send them into a frenzy. I was checking the description to see if it mentions it here, but it's... Oh, long ago it said that a golem crafter employed a similar crystal tool. So hey, maybe my theory isn't actually insane. But it just sends them into a frenzy and they'll start attacking like anything around them. It's not proper mind control as in like they're on your side. That's not how it works. But in that boss fight, you can mind control the imps and the boss itself with the crystal darts, or frenzy, whichever word you want to use. So that's pretty cool and extremely helpful for a situation like that where you're just locked in a room with all those things. Anyways, let's go to the south of the Lookout Tower, Grace. And by the way, the location that I would recommend farming for those cracked crystals in, if you do want to go grab those, or grab the recipe for those darts and use those in that boss fight, is going to be Celia Crystal Tunnel, that place that we went to. We got stuck in the transporter trap in Dragon Burnt Ruins right here. That's probably going to be your best bet at this point in the game for finding cracked crystals. And I'd farm up a few of them just because you only make 5 darts at a time, and it might take a couple to land that frenzy. Not to mention those imps are just hard to hit in general, so you'll probably waste a few. Alright. Whoops. Not what I want to do. I want to climb to the top of this tower. Die. Crack this open for the hand ballista, some ballista bolts, and you can make your way back down. I missed. Go ahead and mount up, and then we want to make our way down here to the right. And we want to drop down again to the right whenever it's safe to do so. It's probably fine. Then you'll find a cave entrance down here. And we are going to end up buying a bunch of stuff in this episode again, so leave some runes on deck if you can. I'm going to avoid leveling up for now. You can fall through this hole if you want to, I suppose. I'm going to avoid it, but it really doesn't matter. You're just gonna get dropped into this pile of rats that I'm about to run into in about 2 seconds. There's really no avoiding them. You just have to choose whether to walk into the room or drop into the room like Batman. No way. Rats have too much range. I think it's time we nerf them. Alright, drop down. Drop down again. Silver fireflies. And boss time. Now this used to be one of like the funniest bosses in the game. It's a rune bear that we've encountered a couple times now in the game, but in a boss form. And it used to be if you just let him hit you with the grab attack, he would just fall through the floor as soon as he let you go. And unfortunately they fixed it. I was so sad when I found that out. It was a thing for quite a long time. Like that was not a day one bug fix. But want to watch out when he goes up on his back legs. He can just like turn an unreasonable amount. You want to try to stay behind him. And watch out for when he does his forward charge jump thing. That's the one. I feel like I rolled through that, I'm gonna be honest. They're just so like spammy. You just can't catch a break. It's like fighting the small rats. Like the giant rats don't behave like the small rats. This is like if the giant rat jumped around as much as the small rat, I feel like. Or like fighting a giant dog. I don't know. Get the Spell Drake Talisman, some random items on the ground, and you can return to entrance. It was much more entertaining when it fell through the floor, I'll be honest. Alright, and then back outside. I'm gonna rest up actually. Gotta kill quite a few enemies before we get another grace, if I'm not mistaken. And if you're worried about losing runes, you're just like hoarding them like I just told you to, you just watch ahead a little bit. Pretty soon we'll pop over those merchants and I'll show you what all we need to buy. So you can just run ahead and do that before you keep pursuing more fights and everything. Play it safe if you want. Personally, I like to live pretty dangerously, so this is the move for me. And I'm on a serious time crunch. We head straight northwest this corner, grab the Faith Knot Crystal Tear from that bowl there. And then in here there's going to be a ton of Demi-Humans and Demi-Human Queen. We want to just go in on the Queen as aggressively as possible. Maybe get a stagger if you're lucky. Bloodlust, that works too. As soon as she goes down, you get Crystal Burst and the Demi-Human Queen Staff, and the reason we want to be so aggressive is everyone else surrenders after she dies. So, that's awesome. And then, I don't feel good about killing surrendering enemies. I don't care if it's a video game. My moral compass is not a fan of that. Mount up on a torrent, double jump over that wall there, and we want to go downstairs. Grab the Shield of the Guilty. And then let's warp to Church of Pilgrimage. I need to remind myself, there's a shield here, but I think I picked it up already. Yeah, Gilded Iron Shield. So, it would just be out here in the graveyard on one of the tombstones. You'll see it glowing if it's still there for you. But if you run over to this north cliff, hop down onto this. Okay, that's sketchy. Down again. Okay, I guess me and that bat are cool right now. No idea how this little dude got up here. Or this one. They had to have climbed from down there. Like, there's just no other way. These are being very difficult right now. Alright, get a sliver of meat, and then 3 Bewitching branches. If you recall the first episode, I told you how freakishly rare these are in the game. There's so few of them. I think I said there are 8 of them that like spawn naturally in the game. You can eventually get the cookbook to make them, but not for a while. And even the cookbook is kind of obscure. Like, extremely obscure even. And, you know, there's 3 of them right there on a body, and you see how hidden they are. Like, what would possess someone to go over to this cliff and look down, not see any items, jump down anyway, and then go find the item? It's just crazy how rare that thing is. But anyway, once you're back at Church of Pilgrimage, want to run southwest. Go down this hill a bit. Tombsward Ruins. Grab the beast liver and then make your way downstairs. I'm gonna grab the lilies too. Trina's lilies are fairly rare, so I mean, not super rare, but they make really good items that you will definitely want to be crafting later on in the game. And farming for flowers is no fun, so. I do believe there are a finite number of them in the game. We crack that open and get the winged scythe from the chest, and then we can walk back outside. Hear the twinkle of a teardrop scarab. Oh. Nice. Divine Fortification. I don't think this fall kills you. I was right, thankfully. So if he falls off, feel free to chase him. Alright, then we would pop a stone sword key into this. That's gonna unlock the Weeping Evergaol. And then this guy is a little frosty boy. So if you have some fire grease, I'd recommend throwing that on. It's gonna help you out with damage. I think we can craft some too. I'll double check after this fight. Oh, I thought he went out of bounds. He's got very, like, flowy, spinny attacks. He's the embodiment of a curved sword user. Buffs it with frost damage there, so now all of his attacks are going to do some frostbite buildup. You want to stay away from that. Oof. I don't think the boss variants these guys can be backstabbed. There's very similar ones out in the world later in the game, but I think the bosses are a bit different. I'm trying to get a backstab off, but it's kind of hard to get behind him. That was dumb to stand right there. I'm gonna go with no. Tough. That's what I get for backstab fishing. I deserve that, honestly. Oh, I was gonna check the crafting thing. Yes, we can craft fire grease. It just takes root resin and smoldering butterflies, which should have plenty of both. So I'm going to indulge in another fire grease. I don't like when he uses magic. It's not fair. I'm honorably fighting him with just a blade. He should do the same. Mine is on fire, so his frost buff is fair game, I suppose. Even though it's way stronger. I feel like this enemy type is like, this is my Crucible Knight. The real Crucible Knights, I'm really like, I don't mind so much. Like, they're awful, don't get me wrong. It's not like I enjoy fighting them by any means. But I do okay with them, I think. I think this enemy, for me, is like how everyone else feels about Crucible Knight. Just absolutely has it out for me. I try to heal and he just takes it personally every time. That kind of thing. Okay, dude. It's the way he just wobbles around. It's like you're fighting a drunk person. Alright, easy. Skill issue. So he's gonna give us Radagon's Scar Seal, which is actually very good. If it seemed like that enemy was kind of difficult compared to the things around here, it's because, I mean, biased, I think it is, but also he does give you something really good. So the Scar Seal Talisman is going to raise a bunch of your attributes, also increases your damage taken. There's an upgraded version of this that you can get later, but if you look at my attributes, it adds +3 to basically everything that has to do with melee. Your vigor, endurance, strength, dexterity all go up by 3. So that results in more health, more stamina, more equipment load, and obviously it's going to help you be able to hold more weapons, hit harder, all that good stuff. There is a magic equivalent of it we can get later in the game as well. That also has a stronger version later on, but pretty sick, honestly. Where am I going? I'm going to rest. And you definitely don't need 22,000 runes for the stuff that we're gonna buy. I'm just being stupid again. Hoarding way too much. That's alright. You want to drop down here in front of the church. It's gonna be a cave entrance. Had the Tombsward Ruins and now the Tombsward Cave. Is this the poison one? I don't want to do the poison one. I'm gonna get poisoned. It's the poison one. Alright, awesome. No, my controller died. Are you kidding me? This isn't real. Plugging it in. This didn't happen in the boss, which was very close to happening during the boss. All things considered. Can you turn back on, please? I plugged it into my computer, not box. I'm a bot. Where's the cord at, dude? Oh my god. Wait, it's back on. Oh, that's because I charged it for 2 seconds. Can we get back to the grace? But you guys at home were like, haha, he's gonna die. Not today, dude. I'm not healing though, I'm not cheating. This is a test of speed. Oh yeah. No one, absolutely no one, does the dead controller scramble quite like I do. Alright, let me find this cord. Alright, we are so back. I like how I said I'm pressed for time, we need to really move in this episode. It's going to be a long one, and perhaps I've had the most shenanigans of any episode so far. That's alright. There's nothing wrong with having fun. Alright, so I like to backstab that guy. These guys are always kind of in pairs, so if you can backstab the first one, that's ideal, because then the iframes will protect you from the projectiles of the second one. Also, don't stress too much about the poison. You are going to get poisoned here before you leave. There's just no way around it. Alright, backstab's not happening. Luckily, the poison is really not too punishing. But we do want to move quickly so we don't burn through all our heals. So we're gonna go in this cave right here. It's gonna be a giant rat that pops out on the left at some point. I think we have a second. Heal up. Watch for the other rat. I don't see him yet. Nomadic Warriors Cookbook 8. There you are. Alright, take out a couple flowers. Grab the Arteria leaf. I'm gonna heal up again. Grab those poison bone darts. These guys are sleeping, they're not gonna mess with you, but you can also kill 2 out of 3 of them before they even wake up, so free runes, you know? And then down through here should be the boss fight. Alright, so try to take care of the small ones as soon as possible, and then just go to town on the big one. If it gets the sunlight beam attack off, just frantically run in circles, start spamming the roll button. You're already poisoned, so it's only other attack. The poison cloud isn't going to do anything. And down it goes. Pretty straightforward. Nothing too complicated about that dungeon, just race against time since you're going to be poisoned, right? We get the Viridian Amber Medallion, which gives you more maximum stamina. Gonna rest and clear this poison. And then right next to us in this area here is Witchbane Ruins. I'm going to recommend skipping that for right now because I'm sure it's been fixed by now. I don't know for sure, but at some point there were issues that some people were having with going here too early and messing up Sorceress Selen's questline, which we do not want to do. And there's really not too much in the way of loot here. If you're a caster, you can grab something called Ambush Shard if you want. But again, I would probably just not do it and just not risk it whatsoever and not go there. Because Ambush Shard isn't really even that good. It doesn't work most of the time in my experience. Anyway, warp to Ailing Village outskirts. And we got most of the cool stuff here in that starting route loop video. If you didn't participate in that with everyone else, first of all, what are you doing? Second, just run up this hill straight south. You can see the church right above my head. You're gonna find Incantation there, Sacred Tear. But all we really need to do is sneak over here. Grab the shield, and that's pretty much it for items here, so you can get out of Crazy Town. And then let's do... Doing things out of order worked so great last time. Let's do it again. Actually, no, I have too many runes. This is borderline suicide, what I was about to do, so let's spend our runes before we do that. Instead, we'll cross the bridge and continue the way that my notes told me to go. Down the Spirit Spring and up the hill to the tunnel. Gonna ignore the elevator. Drop down once and twice. Smithing stone. And keep making your way down to the Grace. That's such a sad way to go. And he didn't die, so that's going to be a nightmare later. Sneak across here, just kidding, he saw us. Kill him as fast as possible, because another one's going to come out of the tunnel here. I said another one's gonna come out of the tunnel here. What? What do you mean? What? Where did it go? I don't know what's happening. I swear, there's always one in that tunnel. Dude, I'm gonna go insane. I have to check. We're wasting more time. That's okay. If we do this again and nothing comes out of the tunnel, I'm quitting. There's number 1. See? I told you. I'm not crazy. I'm a little crazy. But I feel so redeemed. Alright, 3 more to deal with here. Got the iron cleaver, sweet. Grab that golden rune. Run over here and deal with this guy. That was too slow. Smithing stone. Got him that time. I had to release it a little bit early. But I learned from my mistakes. Alright, a whole lot going on in here. Deal with you first. And then you. They're just so immune to my sword. Golden rune 4. Salted flesh. And a somber smithing stone. Come on. Alright, that should be it for this room. I swear I rolled. New strat, just fight him like it's a dragon. Running jump attack, then run away. Rinse and repeat. Alright, go ahead and sneak and duck over here to the left. Have the soft cotton. And then the miners, as usual, are not going to mess with you, so we'll save those for last. And just try to get the jump on this group here. And there's one more that comes out from over here. Alright, and then we can start clearing around the perimeter. Should grab all the smithing stones off the wall. Heal on crit talisman's so nice. I just absolutely love it. Almost can't live without it. It is time for the boss, though. This guy is pretty dead easy compared to the rest of what we just did. Basically just one of the normal enemies. He's pretty slow. He can be parried. He can be backstabbed. I've, honest to God, never seen that move in my entire life. Maybe I'm wrong about all of this. I take it back. This is a hard boss. Why are you making me look like a fool? Just be backstabbed. Thank you. This dungeon is testing my patience, man. It's making me second guess myself. Rusted anchor for killing him, and then we can return to the entrance. Alright, and then warp to Church Pilgrimage. Alright, when I said save up some runes, I meant like 10,000 tops. This is excessive. Also forgot to mention this. When you get to these churches, usually if you rest, Melina will want to talk to you. This is not... Melina's... She doesn't really have a quest line. But you can talk to her and she kind of just like gives you general lore and information about the world. So feel free to talk to her. You're not going to hurt anything. Doesn't really matter what you say to her outside of when you first meet her. Tell her that you'll accept her as your maiden. And then she also does something very important like at the end of the game. But that's... The middle stuff is just her yapping essentially. Let's level up though. Because we do not need 29,000 runes. Save... We're on the 8,000 because we're about to clear some catacombs, so... Should be enough. If I'm wrong, then that sucks. But from the Church of Pilgrimage, you can go ahead and just... run towards the tree, essentially. You want to go behind this archway. This episode is definitely running long, but we are getting through a lot of stuff today, so that's good. I'm just committing to getting all the Weeping Peninsula stuff done in one video. I just don't think it makes sense to do it any other way. Let's pop this open with a stone sword key. A couple skeletons are going to come to life. Don't forget to clear that text. I almost just got me killed. Nomadic Warriors Cookbook 9. I'm sitting here editing this video and I'm absolutely dying. I need to enunciate more, man. The way I mumbled through this sentence, tell me I don't sound like a Halo elite. Grave Love War 2, Grave Love War 1, Grave Love War, Grave Love War... And then around this corner there's going to be another skeleton. I'm gonna hide over here and grab that in the meantime. And just trying to break line of sight from the archers that are around the corner. Now we can deal with them. Just stab me with an arrow. Ghost Glovewort 1. Just skeletons everywhere. Was this some kind of catacomb? Alright, and then we finally get to demonstrate the cool thing with Margit Shackle. See that pillar down there? I like to put it right here because I don't use it very often, but I don't want to have to dig through my inventory every time, so you put it in the like fake pouch. It's right here when you press the pause button, but it's not keybound. Anyway, when you use this, it's going to send out an invisible shockwave that when it makes contact with a boss named Margit is going to stun him, essentially, right? But the invisible shockwave actually has collision for some reason. It doesn't do any damage to anyone, but it is massive, like big enough to cover entire catacombs, not exaggerating. And it counts when it hits, or when it goes out, that collision can interact with these pillars and turn them off at range. So you are now able to remotely activate and deactivate those pillars from here on out, which is incredibly useful. And jump up here, ride that to the top, try to get the skeleton to stand up. Take out this one as well. I forgot to mention, if you don't have that, be careful when you run in here. I forgot to execute that one. Also, when you do this, if you just jump on top of it, it doesn't work. You kind of have to like run into it and like trip on it with your foot as you're jumping up. I forgot to finish him off. Okay, but what I was saying, as you can see, the fire also sprays that way. So if you're running in here normally and you haven't bought Margit Shackle yet to do that trick, just be careful about running left. Make sure you duck over to the right, because otherwise you'll just run into more fire. Down here, there's going to be a bunch more skeletons. I'm going to activate them. I didn't hear any bones. There we go. And I'm going to turn this back on. You should hopefully get torched. Beautiful. I think one of them is going to get back up, yeah. Come a little closer if you would. Alright, well. This isn't going fast enough for my liking. Grab the prattling Pete. Thank you. Grave Glove Ward 2. And the skeleton dropped his bone shard. That's awkward. Oh. I guess you could just stand on it and use the remote. It's a little extra, but it works. Alright, I think this room is clear. Yes. There's gonna be a couple more skeletons in here. Hello? I like to rush the archer in the back of the room first, personally. And here is the lever. Because of my trusty Crimson, forgot the name again, Assassin's Crimson Dagger, I'm doing just fine on heals. So, into the boss we go. Alright, this guy is super squishy. It's just kind of hard to hit. When he does get close and attacks, it's a very rapid flurry of bloodlust inducing slashes. Looks something like that. He also has a ranged attack. Looks like that, and it's gonna bind you for like 5 seconds. You have a couple of options. One, you could have gotten all the way behind the pillar, which I failed to do. Or you can roll pretty much right when the ball in his head is like the biggest, and that should be the correct timing, more or less. These guys are also extremely, extremely weak to holy damage if you have a source of that. If you were planning ahead, you could have crafted some holy throwing pots, but they also like teleport all over the place, as you just saw, so your odds of landing those are not great. But if it does hit, it's going to absolutely annihilate them. But that gives us the Lhutel, the Headless Legendary Spirit Ashes. It's going to be 1 out of 6 for the Legendary Ashen Remains achievements. I'm not going to explicitly track every achievement in the game. We are going to do all of them, but like most of them are just killing a boss, and we're going to kill all the bosses in this walkthrough. So I'm not like going to make a point of saying like, oh, you killed, you know, this guy. That's an achievement. That's just more work than I feel like doing. So, but stuff like this that you can definitely miss, I will be tracking for you. So 1 out of 6. That's what I'm trying to say. Time to shut up. So let's go to Merchant Kale, actually. Now we're going to go on that spending spree. And what we're going to do here is buy any cracked pots that we have not bought yet. Maybe you've been buying these, maybe not. Talk about Blythe since we met him. Not necessary for any quest though. So Kale has 3 cracked pots. I'm going to grab all 3 of those. And since we have the money, let's also pick up these cookbooks while we're here too. We got the Nomadic Warriors Cookbook 1, Nomadic Warriors Cookbook 2, and the Missionaries Cookbook 1. Then there's going to be another one for sale up here at the Nomadic Merchant in Northern Limgrave. Doesn't really matter which grace you go to, Saints Bridge or Summon Water Village Outskirts, I think it was called. Both will be just fine. Alright, then we can buy a cracked pot from him and the Nomadic Warriors Cookbook 3. Oops. Next, we can go down to Castle Morne Rampart Grace and buy yet another cracked pot from this guy. There we go. And then I'm also going to go ahead and pick this up right now. It's 1500 runes. If you don't want to keep spending money, which is totally understandable, then don't get it right now. But just for completionist sake, to say that we got it, to say that we covered it in the walkthrough, this is that Crimson Amber medallion that you could start the game with that raises your maximum HP by just a little bit. This and the Viridian Amber medallion, which we picked up from that poison cave. Do the same thing, just, you know, one's HP, one's stamina. They both have upgraded versions later in the game. There's like a +1 and a +2 version of both of them. So when you get the stronger ones, they're worth using a little bit more than I think they are right now. But that is where you get it if you don't pick it as a starting gift. Speaking of starting gifts, if you just got all the cracked pots that we did, you should be at a total of 6 right now. We just picked up 5 more, 3 from Kale. The 4th one from North Limgrave Nomadic Merchant, and the 5th one from this guy right here, and then the 6th one came from, I believe it's called Groveside Cave, right here between Church of LA and Gatefront. It's just sitting next to a wolf, and they're super easy to get. So you should be at 6 cracked pots right now, 7 if you picked it for your starting gift, which I did not, so I'm at 6. So that means that we can craft 6 throwing pots at a time right now, which almost makes them worth using. So What I am going to do, and what I'd recommend you do as well, is craft 6 fire pots, because we're about to go fight something that is very weak to fire. And these are super cheap to craft. Just takes mushrooms and smoldering butterflies, which we've been finding all over the place. So now go ahead and warp back to Church of Pilgrimage. And then we're pretty much going to run the same route we just did. Maybe it would have been faster to just go back to the catacombs we were at. That's fine. But we want to make our way to the base of that tree in front of us. The big one, if it wasn't obvious. Alright, Stake America right there. That's how you know that something's about to go horribly wrong. Feel free to summon here if you want. I'm going to go ahead and equip those fire pots. Whoops, not that. Fire pots. I will use that though, I suppose. Why not? Alright, so this guy does not like fire because he's made of wood. Moveset very reminiscent of the Asylum Demon, Stray Demon, all the classic Dark Souls demons. Who does that attack, all these swords are going to appear in the sky. Just run sideways and you'll avoid them. You don't have to roll at all. I would recommend staying close to this guy because your odds of being completely missed by the hammer swings are much higher that way. Alright, this fire grease is like really putting in work. Normally I just start with the fire pots. I was gonna let the fire grease run out first, but it did like most of the heavy lifting, so that's really all there is to say about that guy. Run away when he does the big slam, like body slam thing. Run sideways when the swords appear. Otherwise it's just big hammer swings, right? Not too much to it. But that's going to give you the Opaline Bubble tier and the Crimson Burst Crystal tier. I'd also recommend picking up these Tarnished Golden Sunflowers whenever you can. That's going to let us craft those holy pots. I don't know if you saw in my inventory right there, holy water pot. Same recipe essentially as the fire pot, but sub the smoldering butterfly for the sunflower. And I kind of wish I had just demonstrated the holy water pot on the enemy, because when enemies are weak to holy damage, they are really, really weak to holy damage. Well, actually, yeah, I'll demonstrate that in the next video, as a matter of fact. I'm pretty sure. I think we're doing night bosses in the next video. But anyways, over here west of that tree should be a spot to drop down onto this broken pillar archway thing. Got the Eclipse Crest Heater Shield. And I did want to mention that those minor Erdtrees that we just fought that guy at, most of them do have a Erdtree avatar guardian guy by them, but these are where you're going to get lots of those crystal tiers. They usually drop them like 2 at a time there, so. Pick up this Grace. And I guess I'll rest as well. Okay, so now that we don't need all those runes, let me level up again. Some dexterity, why not? And then warp to... Let's go Tombsward Catacombs. That should work. Actually, no. This one makes more sense. Ailing Village outskirts. Forgot we don't have to hit the Spirit Spring to get to the spot. This is the place that I pointed out that was basically suicide, and that is still true, but now it's suicide with a lot less stakes because I'm not carrying around a ton of runes. This isn't exactly like an airtight, foolproof method, but it usually works. jump down here, stay on torrent, make a beeline for this teardrop scarab. Try not to get assaulted by the bats. Get the lightning strike incantation. And I like to run around and grab these Fulgur Bloom just cause. And then when you're ready, I'm gonna run back here. And if you jump and then double jump around this corner, the bats shouldn't be able to get to you here, and they should just fully de-aggro. Yes, combat music went away. Nope, just kidding. Someone's still mad. Can't open my map yet. They definitely don't seem to see me. There we go. Alright, so yeah, that's the strat, right? Sometimes you're going to get unlucky and the bats are just going to rip you to shreds, knock you off of torrent, then you're in trouble. What you can do in that case is... Let me just get out of here. I don't want to push my luck. What you can do in that case is fight the bats or die. Hopefully you survive though. And then you can just save and quit and reload, and the teardrop scarab will reappear and the bats won't respawn. So you can get it that way and then basically good to go. But that strat of jumping around the corner to reset them works for me pretty much every time. So hopefully it works for you as well. But lightning strike incantation going to come in very, 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 very handy if that's the kind of build you're running with. Anyway, let's warp to... No, we already did Impaler's Catacombs because I did it early. We're done. That's it. That's everything in Weeping Peninsula, with the exception of Witchbane Ruins, which we're skipping, and Castle Morne, which is its own, like, it's not a proper legacy dungeon, but it's like a mini legacy dungeon, so it's gonna get its own video next time. But we did it. We did all the stuff in one video, like I said we would, and really. Not bad on time. Barely over an hour. So, hell yeah. Hope that was helpful. Hope you enjoyed the video. And I will see you next time. Have a good one.